Danny Briere and the Philadelphia Flyers offer sheet Leo Carlsson of the Anaheim Ducks, 5 years, $18 million per season. Who starts a conversation like that? I just sat down. After saying the Flyers would most likely take a step back this upcoming season, Danny Briere goes out and offer sheets one of the top premier young centers in the NHL. The former 2023 second overall pick has gotten better every year he's played in the league. Last year, he had a breakout season, 67 points in 70 games, 11 points in 12 playoff games. He's not great on faceoffs, but most young players aren't, and he wouldn't hit a fly if it landed on his nose. But there is no question that Leo Carlsson is a fantastic young center and would be a franchise centerpiece for the Philadelphia Flyers. $18 million is a lot of money, but you got to do what you got to do when you're throwing out these offer sheets. And there's no question Leo Carlsson will be the Philadelphia Flyers franchise center going forward. We'll start off looking at this from the Flyers' perspective. They desperately need Leo Carlsson. They need a franchise center. You look at all their great young players, Porter Martone, Tyson Forrester, Matvei Michkov. They're all wingers. You look down the middle, Christian Dvorak is their projected first-line center. Their second-line center, Trevor Zegras. I mentioned how Carlson's not great in the face-off dot. If there's anybody worse than him, it's Trevor Zegras. Danny Briere has been tight with the Flyers cap situation. He has every forward locked up under $9 million and every defenseman locked up under 6.25. They have just under $30 million in cap space and plenty of draft picks. So if the Ducks were to not match this offer and the Flyers had to give up 4 first-rounders, they'd be one of the teams that can afford it. You look at the flip side, the Ducks' perspective, and oh boy, are they in trouble. You know how I mentioned Danny Briere has been tight with his contract situations, hasn't really overpaid anyone, didn't stock up on a ton of veterans making a lot of money? Yeah, the Ducks did about the opposite. They have Troy Terry making $7 million, Mikael Granlund $7 million, Chris Kreider $6.5, Alex Killorn $6.25, Frank Vatrano $4.57, and they just locked up AJ Greer to $4.57 million a season. And the Ducks still have a couple more RFAs that they need to sign. Defenseman Pavel Mitnikov, and guess who? Cutter Gauthier. This is why I was really down on the moves that the Sharks have made recently. Spending money on guys like Sherwood, Marchment, Trouba, Nurse. Yeah, it's great. You can afford it right now. But when all of your younger players come up and need contracts, Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, Ivar Stenberg, where are you going to get the money from? You always think you're going to have enough cap space until something like this happens. And you look at the Ducks, they just haven't managed their contracts well at all. They should have moved on from Frank Vatrano years ago when he had his 30-plus goal season. Mikael Granlund, Troy Terry, Chris Kreider, Alex Killorn. It's great to give all these guys contracts when your young players are first drafted and you're trying to usher them along. But you don't want to give them too many years because, again, a situation like this could arise where you have guys like Carlsson and Gauthier expiring in the same summer. And now you're struggling to hang on to your young superstar players that you're trying to build around because the guys that you brought in to build around them are taking up all the cap space. The Ducks shouldn't have a problem moving really any of those guys besides potentially Frank Vatrano. They should be able to clear the space, and I do think at the end of the day the Ducks will end up matching this offer sheet. But man, for the sake of entertainment, I hope they don't. One last thing to note, that whichever team ends up with Leo Carlsson, because it's a 5-year deal, at the end of it, he will be a 26-year-old unrestricted free agent. So either of these two teams could potentially spend $18 million on him, and in the Flyers' case, potentially 4 first overall picks, and end up having him walk at the end of 5 seasons, or at the very least, having a lot of leverage in any negotiations. Those are my initial thoughts and reactions to this offer sheet. It's not very often that we see one of this caliber. Let me know in the comments whether you think the Ducks can or will match this offer sheet, or are the Philadelphia Flyers going to get their next face of the franchise? Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Take care.